And we are back for another GC. We're back for the third round now of this week. So we are in the toilet bowl in the losers bracket. And as you can see, we're up against someone who has the title of Kyber Contender. So I think this really just says a lot about my bracket. The fact that we're in the toilet bowl and the Kyber Contender, which is someone who's placed top 10 in Kyber, I believe, up against us. And we've taken first in Kyber a few times, but still, like, this is going to be a tough match. So our opponent's actually already started attacking. He's in the middle of this. I don't really know where he's at. But before we go ahead and look at that, let's go ahead and bring up the stats for this guy, see what we're up against here. So he's actually pretty darn close to us in terms of relic values. He has 200 more relic values, which isn't close, but it's closer than most people. And you can actually kind of see here where the disparity is. So like where we have a bunch of tier 1s, like relic level 1s, he has a bunch of tier 5. So it looks like, he has a lot of the relic levels built between those two. But other than that, I mean, he's got a pretty good roster. I mean, our mods are fairly even. He's got more plus 10s, plus 15s, but I think we haven't beaten plus 20s and plus 25s, so that's interesting. He's got a lot of JC Omicrons as well. He does not have, I believe he's missing 2 that we have. He doesn't have Dash, and he doesn't have Qui-Gon. Interesting. Okay, doesn't have Qui-Gon. Okay. But he does have Starkill, and he has all 6 GL, so he still has a pretty good advantage, and he looks to be a pretty darn good player. Now let's go ahead and see what he is doing to my defense, because he's definitely been working on it. He's probably started attacking right out the gate too. Probably drew up a play in first or something like that. Yeah, so he's into it. So here's our bottom wall. We didn't change our defenses, by the way. We're just kind of keeping it the same. And this, I think you know what happened here. He typically likes to use the C counter a lot for JMK, and the C counter doesn't have very high success. So what probably happened is he got in there and he, zapped both Cat and Ahsoka or GK or whoever it was, and then brought in something to clean up the 3. No idea what happened here. That's kind of cool. Yeah, the other 2 teams got beaten out pretty easily. I have plans for that mole team for next season, though. That mole team is going away. It is not doing me anything. All right, so got through Mon Mothma here. This is, our junk squad's in the back. Hopefully him having to use 2 cleanup teams. This is probably a joke, but hopefully just runs out of teams, which I don't think is going to happen. Also, I don't know if this is a default name, but I think this might be the person who makes the spreadsheet that we use. I could be wrong about that, but I always feel like his name is in there when we have to download a new update. So yeah, he's going on doing his thing, and then he put down kind of a weird defense. So I'm guessing he completely cheesed ships, like didn't put anything remotely difficult down at all for ships, and then put this on defense. So we put this in the top wall, so these are the 2 teams that have been a pain in the butt for us these last 2 rounds. This one screwed up our first match entirely. This one screwed up our second match entirely. Now, I'm not sure if we would have won those if they didn't, but they've been kind of a pain on our side. Then he's got, Mon Mothma and crew, not really that big of a deal. And then bottom wall, this is where things get kind of weird. He's got Dash with Han and Chewbacca, and then he's got the full droid CLS team. And this isn't unheard of. Like, I have seen this before, but it's still a little weird. So I'm not too sure. I really don't actually know what I'm going to do there. Maybe we take GG Newt versus this, and then Qui-Gon Jinn versus that, and call it good. But also, I've never faced Relic Traya before. I don't know what we're going to do there. And then actually, how fast is Darth Revan here? Because my Piet's 355, so as long as he's slower than that, yeah, we can trooper that. We should be able to trooper that pretty easily. Hopefully, Veers doesn't decide to wreck me like he did last time. Although, there's no HK here, so that should be slightly easier. So yeah, and then we're gonna have to save our 2 main counters for this, which is SLKR and JML. But yeah, we'll see where that gets us, and hopefully he'll be done attacking before we even start, because they have a tendency to see once I start attacking, they just stop, which is annoying, but I get it. So let's go ahead and get to them battles, and let's get to those battles. So first off, we have our Imperial Troopers versus Darth Revan. The goal here is pretty much we're just trying to get through the bottom wall, seeing what's in the back, because that is going to be crucial to what we're going to be able to use against the top, depending on what's back there. So we're able to use the Stomp with range because there's no HK here. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to balance my hits between Bastila Shan Fallen and Marauder so that we can kind of kill them back to back. And you can see we're having a few issues getting Bastila Shan down. She's actually modded for full health. She really doesn't have any speed. But we're able to get the right kills back to back. We're going to go ahead and trying to contemplate what we want to do with Malak and Darth Revan, but I think we have the AoE lined up with Veers here, so we're good to go ahead and take a hit onto Darth Revan just fine. Now we can go all in on Malik. And one small issue here, we didn't land the defense down from Stark onto Malik. And that does cause issues because Dark's 2 punches do significantly more if Malik does not have that huge amount of defense on him. Luckily, for whatever reason, even though this Malik being R6 and our Dark being R5, he was modded for tenacity. Like, he had full tenacity set. So if he didn't have defense sets, if he did, he probably would have survived that Dark punch, but he didn't. So we're doing pretty well here. We start to use our AoEs because we're trying to hit Talon there. And ultimately, we're just not going to do a whole lot of damage versus Darth Revan. He can actually revive if we kill him as well. So again, trying to use the AoEs here, we end up getting Talon down through AoEs, and then we just kill Darth Revan. So works really well. This was cool. This was really, really cool. So this is kind of a new counter to a new team. So a lot of people have been doing this weird CLS thing that we showed earlier because they've been wanting to put Han and Chewbacca with Dash. Well, the issue is that whole team goes first, and they don't do anything. Like, they spin around, shoot some smoke screen, wiggle. Like, those turns aren't doing anything. So we immediately were able to rip all those buffs off, and everyone pretty much gets 100% turn meter because there was just a stupid amount of buffs. And of course, you know, we even landed stun on CLS, who learns controls data, so he has 100% tenacity or something like that. But there's just way, way, way too much potency on this team between Hunter lead, the potency up that Tech gives, as well as him getting potency from translation. We're able to land that stun. We don't land this one, but you know, Omega got a nice kill shot in there. And now we're just trying to make sure we're all back at full protection here because we're about to kill him. So yeah, we're hitting 3PO just for fun. Get the protection back to Wrecker, 65. Really clean, really nice. And then against the Dash team with CLS and Han, this is about the worst thing that could have happened. They shot our Jedi Anakin so that he wasn't able to go berserk when they ticked him off. That's really not what you want to happen. Like, shooting anyone else would probably be better. So we not only did that happen, but we burned our AoE when Qui-Gon Jinn wasn't alive, so that wasn't great. Mace is able to get 130k hit there. That was really nice. That was pretty cool. And then, yeah, the team just destroyed after that. So that felt pretty darn comfortable. And I hate this next battle. I hate this counter. I'd hate anything that counters Trey because I've said this before in regards to Iden, but almost every single team now feels like it's made to assist, and Trey just eats that up. So in this, Trey was modded really well. She had defense set, she had health primaries, and a crit avoidance arrow. So every single way to make her more survivable, they had it. So, you know, you guys saw there they killed our Nubaka. Not really ideal. Almost kill our Chewbacca here as well. We're just barely able to kill Nihilus there, kind of in the background. This, like, at no point does this match feel comfortable. Also, that spreading the buffs was really a misplay. We would have been better off just shooting him. But yeah, this doesn't feel comfortable. They killed Nubaka. Chewbacca is stunned, probably about to die. And then, yeah, stuns him again, gets shock on him this time. Luckily, we have enough DPS. And we get a 57, which, good, not great. So we learned from our mistakes last time. And we went ahead and made sure to apply the Tank Tech Desulcara by clicking specifically on his health bar to make sure we would get it. And someone, I think it was Tom, who, you know, really smart, he told us to put Watt in that position in front because Watt can't apply Tech to himself. So this is going really, really well. They fractured Zombie. Zombie's also almost about to die, so this will be the only time that she can really be fractured. Maul does get to go berserk, but he has to go all the way through First Order Stormtrooper, so this is all good, about as good as it ever goes. Darth Vader gets in there, starts to do a lot of damage as well. We should be able to probably revive him when we get back around, but then this is bad. Maul has all 5 stacks of Anguish, and we can't stun him because he's got, you know, all 5 stacks of Anguish. So Maul comes in, knocks Daka down, Lord Vader hits ult, and we are back in the same exact situation that we've been in all 3 times that we've done this counter in the last, you know, recent history, where they have everyone dead pretty much about a minute into it, and it's just our SLKR left standing versus everyone else. So we're trying to gauge our attacks here. We're trying to hit ults when we need to, and now Maul has all 5 stacks. Vader is close to getting back to Merciless, so we're not at 100% ultimate, which I would really like to be, but if we don't do this now, they will kill us. So this happened 2 matches ago where it all came down to just timing the ults, and that's what we're trying to do here. So yeah, Vader hits Merciless. He burns his Merciless. We keep doing this. Maul burns all 5 stacks of Anguish, which is great. Lord Vader burned his big AoE. And we're only trying to AoEs here right now. Typically, I would like to use the middle ability as much as possible to get the stun, so you get double the amount of siphon, but I really was trying to get back to the ult. Because I know once Maul hits that 5 stacks of Anguish like he is right now, then things start to get really dirty. So again, we proc the ult at 95%, just because I don't want to get killed. Thrawn wastes his Fracture, which is great, gives us speed up, which is also pretty nice of him. And now it's just these two, and Maul is starting to hit really, really hard. And you saw with his last special that he brought us down to pretty much 50% health from full health. So I'm worried he's going to keep stacking damage, but we seem to be able to keep him at bay here. And I guess, like, I think this really goes to show how much of a difference R9 makes, because this is an R8. And last time we fought an R9, this went down all the way down to a 1-second match. So him being R8 was really nice. So we got to the back wall, and I'm not going to show it, but they have SOKR and Rey in the back, and the good comps as well. So that makes things really difficult, because now we can't use the super team against JMK, because we need Jedi Knight Revan, Jedi Knight Luke versus SOKR. So we decided to go with the Bounty Hunter 2-shot. So what we're going to do here is we're going to use our Bounty Hunters to take out Cat, which, as you guys see, we're doing pretty well right now. And we use Endal's speed chart to do this. This does require the Zam Omicron. But we're able to get in there, we're able to snipe out Cat, which is really all this team is meant to do. And I tried my best to delay this battle from, you know, ending, because I really wanted Kenobi to burn his Hello There, I think is the name of it. The one where he goes and reduces cooldowns on someone. Because I didn't want to have to go into this and get stuck behind their GK with damage immunity, because the GK is pretty slow. And I feel like that could have really slowed everything down. So we stalled the battle out long enough. He burns the Hello There. And now we get to bring in the budget JML team without Jedi Knight Revan, without Jedi Knight Luke, in up against this team. So this is exactly what we do. We take them in. Opening is kind of fine. Like, healing immunity isn't great on Yoda, but whatever. We land the ability blocks in everyone, and then at that point, we're pretty much just, we won. Because without the bonus stats from Cat, especially like giving that massive amount of health to all their characters, we're able to burn through them really, really quickly. So we've already burned through Savior. It's like 30 seconds in. They've barely done anything. We go ahead and increase cooldowns in JMK. Looking back, that was not the right move, because he's going to proc ult anyways, so we might as well have just held that. Went ahead and spread Foresight now because they're able to hit everyone. Couldn't, or wasn't able to call in the lead ability because it was on cooldown, so we went ahead and used the Armor Shred on GK. Every little bit of damage helps, I guess. And then they're really not being super precise with their AI. We're rotating between calling in Jolie and JMY, and this kind of sucks. I hate it when they do this, and they do this pretty often, where they'll kill my one of my characters before right as I'm about to get ult. So you can see in here now, JMY doesn't have the ult lead or whatever it is called. He's without it. So after GK drops, I mean, we've hit ult. We've got a lot more mastery than we had before, and now we're just able to rip through them. We kind of try to get protection back here, but at the same time, our main way to do that is the lead ability, and it does a lot of damage. So JMK eventually just gets his butt handed to him. So this match is interesting. I did my math wrong. I'm not quite sure how, but basically our old Ben is going to go before his SLK, and I thought it wasn't, so I was going to play this one a little bit differently. Instead of putting the Foresight up, instead of giving the ability to Jedi Knight Luke, I went and put the Foresight up because I was almost certain that their SLKR was going to move before my old Ben. It must have been, I think it was a tiebreaker, and I think my old Ben won the tiebreaker. So we end up calling in Jedi Knight Luke over there with the buffs, and now we get the ability block onto SLKR, which is super great. So up until now, everything's pretty much going as normal. And you can see this sucks. So we get a big hit on Red. His Red is actually modded really well. It must have been modded fairly healthy. We lose Jedi Knight Revan there, which isn't great. And now Red gets to kind of go ballistic because we... Oh, actually, you know what it was? We weren't able to kill him because we didn't have the buff on Jedi Knight Luke for the extra offense. So, kind of really misplayed here. And now no one has Master's Training. So we eventually call in Bastila for Master's Training just so we make sure SLK is ability blocked. Without him ability blocked, he gets out of control really quickly. So, Again, same mentality here. Calling Basilisk to get the ability block Phasma as well, so she doesn't pass turn meter to SLKR, who's already 584 speed, by the way. And at this point, we're not going to put blind on SLKR just because he's about to go ult anyways. So we kind of leave him be, kill Phasma. And at this point, we're looking pretty good. We're able to get the foresight up, which is super nice, because now we can't siphon anyone. And we're just trying to maintain the ability block here. And I didn't know Hoda was going to get another turn. It would have been better to call the buffs in on Jedi Knight Luke. But I didn't know, I just didn't know he was going to get a turn. So if I would have overanalyzed this fight a little bit more, we might have been able to get a better outcome than we got. But ultimately, I mean, the AI just played it really well, too. Like, we needed him to attack Jedi Knight Luke at certain times and Hoda at certain times, and he did exactly what he was supposed to, so probably misclicked in some scenarios or others, but at the end of the day, we just lost. So that sucked. This was a very pleasant surprise. So we're all pretty familiar with the fact that SLKR very easily solos full General Grievous teams. However, the Wolf was on the stream and he mentioned, like, what if we did General Grievous but without the lead, because the lead is what increases is what increases his turn meter or decreases his turn meter and gives him like max health. So what if we use Newt? So we take a Newt and without being able to increase his max health, we rip right through SLKR. Like this went really stinking well. We should have done the AoE from Magna later on, because that would have gave speed up to Grievous. But I thought we were done at this point in the battle. I didn't think we were gonna have a chance to clear, but now he came in and just took him out for us. Here we get to use our item counter. This is one of our favorites. This is one, it's just great. I don't know what else there is to say about a counter that works at, Gear 12 against fully relic teams. This one isn't fully relic, only Kara and Kyle Katarna, but still, like, cool. Like, I'll take that all day. So yeah, I mean, we've gone over the strategy for this multiple times. You really want to try to focus down Kyle and Kara. You want to leave the characters that are going to facilitate turn order and also just really weak basic, which is Pow and Hoth Rebel Scout, which you can see was a little unfortunate. We were able to death mark Kyle Katarn and perma kill him, so that was really nice. And you're going to see now we're going to start taking a lot less turns because they have barely anyone to call to assist because there's only 2 characters. Luckily, they get the summon in there, and the summon really helps us out by getting more turns in. That feeds us more turn meter, and we're able to finally get these 2 down. This was nice. They were about to get everyone stunned with Kara there, and we were able to stop them. So got Kara down and permakill Scout. Another user 65, and then this one, I don't even want to show this battle. This was going to be such an easy win, and this is the most glaring, like the worst misplay I think I have ever had. Like this is really bad. So we took in the 3 tanks because number 1, they're going to be able to clear 1 taunt off, so we need at least 2 so that armor is protected. Second, we need I want another tank in there to make sure that Jedi Trainer Ray doesn't get her second healing meter on C. And those of you watching have probably already realized what our fatal mistake was here. Instead of just settling with the 2 stacks of whatchamacallit for C or for armor, we decided to go for a 3rd one. I knew instantly. I was saying this on stream, like, that was just the match. Like, we just lost this entire match because C, I've tried this before in Territory, works with like a full Sith team. C, even if the enemy Rey isn't modded that well, and this one was modded pretty well. I think she had 11,500 offense, which was quite a lot. So she would have been able to really take us out there. But so luckily we were able to at least kill 2 characters here. But yeah, huge misplay. Like, if you're ever going to do this, don't ever do that. Like, I think what this was, the previous battle, we had used SLKR. Our UC versus SLKR, and in that one, you have to get 3 stacks. So I saw that in my head, and it huge misplay. So this was fun. We were trying to see if Wampa had any good viability against Bad Batch, and this beginning worked out really nice because they have unresistible days, which, that isn't great. But my thought is we should be able to shake that off first turn. As long as they don't land any of their stuns or any of their other stuff, we'll be fine. The very, very big issue with this is, though, with them, the vast majority of the team being in stealth we are not countering, we are not gaining turn meter, and we are not able to decrease the cooldown of Icebreaker. So that ends up just completely ending this team. Like, if they couldn't stealth, this totally would have worked. But because they stealthed, it loses, and it loses pretty darn bad. So, in an effort to kind of save our teams to see if we can clean up either Ray or Bad Batch, we go ahead and take in this really, really janky Embo lead with Moff Gideon. I want to take in Moff Gideon just so we didn't get, my Fennec really didn't get, whatchamacallit right off the bat. And I have to say here, man, like, Embo lead, really not that bad. Like, those countering from the bounty hunters when they have Fennec's specific buff, they do a good amount of damage. Like, we're just pretty much cutting right through this team. Because our original plan was to use our Empire team versus crew, but now I want to try Empire versus one of the other two teams. So this part is a little bit annoying. I don't know why Fu was able to survive this long when we were able to kill the other three in pretty much all one hits. So this is a little annoying. Embo having a Discipline is basic. That is super useful. We do try to load up crew with as many armor shreds as possible, just because we're trying to really just make his defense a non-factor for Boba or Embo to get in a really big hit. That dodge sucked, but luckily we're able to go around here. Yeah, without the armor shred, I don't think Boba or really anyone... Not Boba Mike's the healing immunity, but yeah, we're eventually able to get him down. Kind of cool, kind of interesting. And now we're going to go ahead and take in our Empire versus this Ray to see if we can clean it up. Like, I've heard reports of people being able to do this even against like the full Ray team, and I think Vader lead honestly might have been better, because what ends up happening here is we either kill someone or we get them into damage immunity, and then we just keep gaining way too much turn meter and end up just feeding Ray's ult to the extreme. Vader lead probably would have been able to kill them and probably be able to get Ray into damage immunity as well, and at the same time probably wouldn't feed her a bunch of turn meter, and we probably would have been able to come around back and kill her. But again, there's just not a whole lot of ways to know that without being able to do it. So this is where they get the ultimate, and like I said, we've got a bunch of turn meter at this point. We do get the stun on Holdo. We got him loaded up with debuffs, so this is going okay-ish. I'm trying to take as few turns as possible. Ray does get the ult, despite having 5 characters. Everyone dies. We still have Palp, so we go ahead and take out Holdo, and then we lose Palp, and that's pretty much it for ground. We don't really have any more teams. I think next week we'll have a lot more viability. So this was, at this point, we already know we lost because we couldn't full clear, and he already full cleared. So we're just kind of playing around with fleets. And I would decide to take a double bomber, because last time what happened to us is they got buff immunity, just like they did on TIE Bomber. And then we didn't have anyone, and they just smoked the rest of our team. But the issue with that now is TIE Bomber's about to die anyways. So we contemplate bringing the TIE Interceptor, and eventually just not, because as soon as they get through the tanks, TIE Interceptor is going to go down super fast, and we end up going for Gar here. Shuttle might have actually been the right option, because Shuttle actually has quite a bit of survivability, and different from Gar, continues to give survivability after, their main heal. So we do this. Yeah, this whole thing was just a big misplay. Like, Sith Bomber getting taken out in one hit was also not great at all. So yeah, we're just trying to maintain control of the battle here. Really not going well. Don't model your attacks after this one. This was very much experimental. Like I said, we already kind of knew the match was over. So, might as well just try to find out to see what we can do here. Yeah, they apply buff immunity there. Now they have the full fleet out, essentially. Get stuck behind Ahsoka here for a second. And now we bring an Interceptor because, why not? Aim for, one of the few characters that's in Jedi, because everyone else is going to get ruthless on them. I think we end up going for Y-Wing, because I don't think I care about Rex that much. So Jedi. Not a Jedi. So go ahead and throw that on everyone. And yeah, the Interceptor is just still, it's at gear 4-star pilot, gear 11. It's just not where it needs to be. So we're able to get Jedi Anakin through his first on any loyalty. He one-shots our ship. And then just everything else gets destroyed. Luckily, we have Thrawn's ultimate here, so we can at least kill Ahsoka, and I think it gives like 30% damage to everyone else, so Jedi Anakin would also die to it. So we have the two main damage dealers out of it, so hopefully this is probably going to be able to be cleaned up by something, as long as we don't fail on any other fleet. And we really just kind of ride this one. I think at some point, I just press auto. I don't know if we're there yet, but I think at some point I just press auto, because what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get back to Thrawn's ultimate. Because when we get Thrawn's ultimate out, we can get at least one more ship down. But yeah, so pause right now. I'm trying to remember which one of these is the heal, just so we can kind of last a little bit longer, because they don't have any damage and we don't have any damage. So this is pretty much just a timeout, or it looks like it's going to be a timeout from here. So use the heal. I was pretty sure I put this on auto at some point. I guess it was probably towards the end. Yeah, at this point we just put it on auto. They just let them have at it. See if we can get an extra kill on someone. This is unfortunate, though. They go ahead and the Plo put taunt on Rex. So instead of killing the Y-Wing, who's a pretty good tank, we ended up killing Rex, which, you know, killing one character is fine, but not the character I would have liked to have killed. So we end up timing out here, leaving what's less... I mean, this is, at this point, a really bad fleet. We go ahead and take in First Order versus Empire. We used this last time. It worked pretty well for us. We'll see how it does for us this time. Strategy, same as always. Go ahead and hunt to Vader so he can't gain any TM. And then just really try to control the bomber over there. Because once he's dead, there's really not... They can't daze us anymore, and we can kind of have free reign. So, there the bomber dies pretty quickly. They do call in the Interceptor now. They put Ruthless, though, on cruise ship. Or not cruise ship, on the shuttle. Which is kind of weird, because you would think that the AI would be hard programmed for Silencer. But he didn't. So that's really, honestly, really nice, because the shuttle is way more survivability, and the shuttle also is arguably less important. So we don't call in our own TIE Echelon here, because everyone has buff immunity, so we can't stealth them, so it's not really a taunt. So bring in the real taunter, which is Clone Sergeant. Kind of hang out with him for a minute until we can get our real taunter in. Keep calling in Silencer as best we can so that we can get through that TIE Bomber. Now the TIE Bomber's down. I'm really just wanting to kill their Interceptor, because their Interceptor is what is causing a lot of these issues. Vader hits our Silencer really hard, gets rid of him. I bring in my biggest damage dealer, and we one-shot their Interceptor, so that was really nice. And then they just, you know, insta-kill two of my characters. And now they've got Shuttle and Vader, and I mean, we have pretty much nothing left. They might as well just kill us. I think, I don't know if I brought... Yeah, there's nothing we can do, because we don't have any damage anymore. And different from Thrawn's fleet from before, we can't just eventually wait to annihilate them. So we just kind of did this for funsies, and they kill us. So now we're pretty much screwed. Because even with a complete, like, Dregs fleet that just has just mismatched characters, we can only do that once. And this is really where I think having Rey, I think, is going to be pretty important in this new design. Because if you don't have Rey, you don't have a cleanup fleet. Which really, really, really stinks. And, like, I think every single round, yeah, every single round this week, we have had to have a cleanup, and our opponent has had to clean up. So we go ahead and take in Rebels versus Radish, just so we can, you know, finally one-shot something. Get kind of stuck behind the tank here for the beginning, but it's not a big deal. We just brought in these two reinforcements because I'm pretty sure they would, all that would be necessary, and we would just get through it. Millennium Falcon assists just barely enough. Get the taunt back on Biggs, which is nice. Go for the defense penetration now that we don't really need the target lock, because Biggs is at full protection. And just trying to work everyone down as best as we can. Get through them. Calling our other reinforcement. We've pretty much taken control of the field now. Got a lot of dodge there, but that's just, I guess, to be expected with the Raddus fleet. We got through our Biggs, which that's unfortunate, but not the end of the world. Y-Wing is still a decent tank, and we still have the majority on the board. We're able to get rid of the Falcon pretty easily. We're able to get the special buff on Poe, able to take him out. It just goes pretty well. And then it's just a 1v4 here. Cleanse, I think we end up cleansing Y-Wing, just, yeah, so they don't die. And there we go. And then, this is the second time we've done this. We put together our, like, complete, like, table scraps, just what was left over with, I think this was with Executrix, and just try to take out what was left of their Vader fleet. Because I thought this Vader fleet was the better of the two leftovers, because they had Thrawn doesn't do well, or he does really well if you let the battle go on too long. So we went ahead and went against him, especially because he also had Vader. And I'll say something. Soldier is really good in the leftover fleet. Him assisting on pretty much anyone and everyone, it's really nice. It's really nice. Like, it does way more without him, this fleet wouldn't have done nearly enough damage to get where we needed to go. And he, I mean, does quite a bit. Like, go Geo Soldier. Didn't think that would be a new thing. Yeah, but then we're able to call in Ebon Hawk. Hopefully prevent all that other stuff from happening. He resists it, which, you know, whatever. Get the dodge there. One turn away from getting our ultimate here. But we don't need it because Ebon Hawk takes him out. So that is pretty much going to be the end of the match there. We did try to take one more fleet in against his Negotiator. No, what? Yeah, it was a Negotiator with nothing. But, I mean, we literally didn't have anything left and we weren't able to get it down. So that is going to be the match. So congratulations to Delmon. Played really well. Really good defense. Did pretty well on offense. And we're going to have to change. We're going to be changing both our strategy, ground, and fleet. At the end of the day, this bracket that we were in this week was just really hard. Even if I had played better, which I will admit, this has got to be one of my worst weeks ever. But even if we had played better, I quite honestly don't know if we could have avoided being like the, whatever you want to call this, the toilet bowl loser, the mega loser. This pod was just really stinking good. So shout out to these guys. We're going to be in a, should be being the keyword, a much easier pod next week after losing 3 times, especially in week 1. That drops you big time in skill rating. So hopefully it'll be a little bit easier and we'll be able to have a little bit of redemption. But thank you guys for watching. Remember to like and subscribe. And as always, stay awesome.